Good morning. Welcome to a cup of conversation with me, Nidra Simmons. I already have my cup of coffee, but I have my water bottle here. Either way, we can still have that conversation. I just wanted to talk about a few things. I want to talk about mental health. You're hearing a lot about mental health now, and I had questioned myself. I'm like, why all of a sudden between COVID and now we're talking about mental health? When mental health is something that we dealt with or deal with every day, years prior to, commonly hearing it now. And I came to a conclusion. And if you agree with me, then you can put your comments in and tell me how you agree with me. If not, still put your comments in. I don't claim to be perfect. I don't claim to be an expert. I just claim to know some things, and the things that I know, I want to share because it is intended to help other people. And again, it comes from love. I always tell people to love yourself. It is very important to love yourself. I do want to add some pieces that I had put together. I showed these pieces a while back, but I don't know if you guys realize how they look when they're in. These are birds, and they're sitting on my ears, and I paired it up with a beaded necklace. But you can pair it up either way. I just want to show two pieces that are from Designs by Nidra. Oh, there's a bird that just passed by. Oh, it's a red cardinal. Okay, bring my focus back. All right, but I want to talk about mental health because you're hearing a lot of things that's going on in people's lives right now, and um, it's not all of a sudden. It seems like it's all of a sudden, but it's not. Um, I know a lot of men have been told to be strong, don't cry, don't show your emotions. You got to be a man. Well, I disagree with that one. I think just like you tell women to let it go, express yourself, cry, men have to do the same thing. We're human. We all have emotions. We all have feelings, and we all have to deal with it. Um, I keep saying so let me stop that. Okay, so we have to deal with it. Sometimes you need to cry. Sometimes you need to raise your voice. I don't condemn hitting. So at no time should you hit. I do think you should find another way to get that pent up frustration that's inside out without harming somebody else. But I have nothing against men, crying and expressing themselves. And we should be able to allow them to do that. Preferably when they're younger to get all out their system, so when they're older, they can relate the feeling and it won't be so easily for them to be taken advantage of because they're at a lighter pace. Their mind is a lot clearer. They understand that it's okay to do this. You don't do this for attention. You don't do this to manipulate. You do this to express, to clear your system out so that you can move forward. Just like women, we tell women it's okay to cry and you need to show affection and so forth. Boys and men and women and girls all need the same affection. We're all human. There's no discrimination between the fact that we don't need that. We do need that. And it's important to, as parents, to teach our children that early. So that way they can understand it, it can connect, and then when they go through situations, they can express how they're feeling. They don't have to hide anything. Um, if by any chance you hear the name Nidra Simmons and you want to know what that means, next to it, I'm going to put teacher. Because my sole purpose, I feel, is to teach. Whether it's my own children, if other children, or even adults. I go through things and I go through things and get through it. And I don't ask to go through some of these things. It's just that I do. And I believe that I go through it to help others. So I consider myself to be a teacher. Others may not agree to that. That's your opinion. But if you ever hear the name Nidra Powell, Nidra Simmons, and you see this face, associate that with the word teacher. Because that is my purpose here, to teach all types of stuff. Whether it's curriculum that is brought to me to teach, or it's just the gift that God has installed in me to teach. Either way, I teach. And I also want to say that with mental health, you need to establish some boundaries. Like I said, it is not okay to hit because you want to relieve frustration. I am not a doctor, and I know that there's people that have disabilities to where they can't speak or express themselves verbally, but they use emotions and they use anger to get it out. And in that case, I still I don't agree to that. But if that's how somebody is taught to communicate, well then, if that's what you see in the beginning, then learn another way so that they can learn to no longer use that way of teaching, or that's use that way of communication, because it's dangerous. I believe spirits are real. I believe that spirits travel. I believe demons are real. Some call them the same thing, some call them different. I believe that there's no perfect person, and I believe that we all strive to be the best that we can be daily. But no buts, period. But no, period. And there is also things that we all have within us that is challenging that we have to overcome. It's unfortunate that a lot of people don't hear about it or know about the situation until they get older, or until something triggers them to do something negative. And then all of a sudden, okay, now they're going to pinpoint that there's a mental issue with this particular person. Mental. When I say mental, I'm not categorizing that as one particular thing. Mental is the mind. It's the way we think. It's the way our minds connect to our hearts, and how we connect to this world. So it's not just a disability. Mental is, period, the brain, and how we function and how we understand and how we perceive things from the way that we intake it, whether it be through sight, hearing, taste, smelling, whatever. But it's important to express and explain how we feel. As a teacher, as a caregiver, as a parent, when your children are going through emotions based off of what you know, explain to them what they're feeling. Don't leave it to them to try to figure it out. Babies, when they're first born, they teach us what they're feeling based off of their cries or their cues. And as they get older, they learn from you how to express how they feel. And like I said, we're not perfect. So we're individuals who are not perfect teaching another individual how to be. And if you look at it, one person can say that the way that you do things is not the way that I do things. Your way is wrong, my way is right. Who is to determine what is right, what is wrong? All we can do is live the best life that we have with the hand that we were dealt, and try to be the best person that we can be off of what we know. Through life, you learn. So I always say, when you know better, you do better. So start doing better once you learn to do better. But I also want to go back to boundaries. We need to set boundaries for ourselves and boundaries for others. And when I say others, if you have a responsibility to teach or train somebody else, you have to set boundaries within that relationship between you and that person, whether it's an adult or a child. Just like you have to set boundaries between you and a person if you're in a relationship with them. You have to set boundaries. And I am no relationship expert, but I have knowledge of a relationship or many relationships, so I can share that with you. You need to be able to set boundaries. And I always tell people to love yourself first. I am not saying that just to blow smoke or air out of my mouth into the atmosphere. That is a fact. You must love yourself first. Because if you don't love yourself first, you're going to be susceptible. You're going to be intaking a lot of things that you don't need to intake. I was a person that had very low self-esteem. When I was younger, was a very beautiful person, but I didn't see that when I was younger. I saw something totally different. I saw a deep-voiced person that was fully developed, but still looked like a male. That's my mindset. That is nowhere how I looked when I was younger. And that's how I perceived myself. So saying that, if you just look or see how children these days are coming up and how they're acting and responding to people, you don't know what it is that they're seeing from their perspective versus what you see. I had an aunt that was always telling me, "Oh, you're so beautiful," and I heard her. It went in one ear and out the other. But because I was doing a whole bunch of other things and I was looking for a certain type of love that I didn't even know what it was. It was just what I felt and what I seen in movies. I was looking for that. I didn't have a person to tell me, that's fantasy. That's not real. Love is real, but the way that you see it or the way that the movies partake it, that's not real. That's just someone's perception of what they feel love is. Love is different to everyone. It's not the same. It's not a universal thing. Love is different, but love is real. So, and I'm saying that too because I had a child that, all my kids are smart. I thank God for that. I give God the glory for that. And one of them had wanted to continue to get good things, and in their mind they thought 100 was always good. 100 is good when you come into grades and things of that, where you can always get kudos or trophies or presents for doing good things, because that's how I raised my kids. If you bring home A's and do good in school, you're going to get rewarded. But 100 is not good if you're relating it in weight. So she looked at 100 across the board being that child of mine. That child of mine had viewed 100 as being good all across the board, even in her weight. So this particular child was one size, and she gained a bigger size to be that 100 within a summer, because in her mind she thought that that was good. I didn't know at that time that's what she thought. I found out years later. And I'm sharing this to help someone. This is not to embarrass nobody. It's just the way that we see things, the way that we intake things. Someone can tell us a bunch of things on the outside, but once you know or feel what you have in your inside, it's not going to match. So there's got to be someone there to bring that knowledge of understanding so that that mindset can be cleared. Emotions and feelings, they're developed, but they're also taught. And we need to be able to express that to our children and even to our mates if we're in a relationship. And it should be respected, especially in a relationship. But I just wanted to share that. And I hope that I'm not all over the place. I started out talking about mental health, or the mental part of the body, of, the brain, and how we think, and how a lot of people talk about now we need those mental breaks through work and everything. Children these days have to deal with a lot more stuff than what I had to deal when I was a child. And then when my mom was a child, they had to deal with a whole bunch of other things too. It just advances each generation as it comes. And that's not to say that we're wrong. That's just to say that at that time, this is what was taught. And then, as you, like I said, you learn better, you do better. You know better, you do better. And this is getting kind of lengthy, so I apologize for that. But I wanted to get it out there because it's important. And the way that we see things may not be the way that the other person is receiving things. And there's no right or wrong way to, let me say this right. There's not a right or wrong way to determine what you're feeling isn't real or is real, if that makes sense. Because it's something that has to be taught as well as developed. You just have to put the connection between the development and the taught so that it can be a clear way of understanding to the individual. Okay, now let me go back to saying all of this. I was listening to the radio station yesterday because I had to do a long drive. And on the radio station, it was talking about mental health. And this particular person that was on the radio station had to deal with a lot of stuff. There was a death that was in the family, and it's something that the whole family has to get through. And everybody grieves differently. So there's no right or wrong way to grieve. There's no fast or long way to get over a person. It's just how that individual receives and understand things. And I'm saying all that to say, we all have triggers. That's why it's important to learn about yourself. Take that time to look at the inner you. Look at your inner upbringing. Look back at how life was when you was younger. Look back at the different points in your life to where things got out of control, or things got to the point to where it was to the point to where it brings back memories of not good, or good memories or bad memories. But if you're looking at your inner self, and when you get as an adult and you're looking at things and you get triggered, you can understand that these triggers could be because of something that you didn't complete or closed in the past that someone else is bringing back to your attention. And the difference is, as you put space between things, it makes the situation a lot bigger than what it should be. So if you start off by saying think about something that's small, like a nightmare or a dream Or let's go back to the little shadow thing. If you're in the dark and you have a shadow or a piece of light that comes through the window and you have like a pile of clothes over there, it may look like something big and scary, but then when you turn the light on, it's just a pile of clothes. Or even if you had a situation to where something triggered you and you never found the closure to it, and you just let, or like I think I gave an example before of a bear. This little bear that you had as you were little, and then you were supposed to do something with it, or make that bear a situation that you didn't close out, and then it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it turns out to be something overpowering, and you've built all this fear, which is illusions that you build up because you don't deal with the situation right then and there, and it comes to be so big that it overtakes you. But if you'd have dealt with it right then and there, it would have been an issue. But once you look at that, and if you do take the time to look in your inner self and take the time to resolve this issue, that big thing will begin to get smaller, 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 and then you can be able to overcome it, and it will no longer be a problem. So it's important to deal with situations at that point. But if by chance things happen, life happens, and you have to keep going forward because you have things to do, you have people to take care of, take the time to step back and look at the situation. Instead of reacting, pre-act and look at the situation before you start to take action into doing something about that situation. I hear a lot of people that get well into their 60s, 70s, and 80s that do some horrific something, and it puts them in jail. You should be retiring at those ages. You should be enjoying life at those ages, not putting yourself behind bars because you didn't fix a situation that maybe your parents say we can't, you don't need to deal with that, or whatever happens in the house stays in the house. Or if you are a man and you're up in that age, most likely they tell you men are not supposed to cry. You're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to be that backbone of the house. You're human. You're going to have emotions and feelings. Go through them when you're going through them. Don't wait till you get up there and all of a sudden something triggers you. And I also said that spirits are real, demons are real, so they feed off of that stuff. They feed off of that stuff. So if you are a vessel and you're an unhealed vessel full of hatred and anger, that is the doorway of you letting them into your body so that they can take over and wreak havoc in your soul. So don't do that. I always say it's better to show love. It's better to be happy. It's more relaxing to be happy. Don't be angry all the time because you're setting yourself up for something not so good to enter you and cause you to move forward to do something to push you over that limit. I hope that I'm making sense to all of you guys that's listening to me, because mental health is serious, and mental health should not have to wait until you get older to be handled, because it might be too late. Lives might be gone because of your actions, and then the consequences is close to deadly. So take heed to your emotions. If you feel like you're overwhelmed, take a step back, breathe, relax. I understand too that if you're so angry up there to the point to where it's just you want to explode, that's not a good place to start at. You need to come down to a place to where you can hear the person talking to you, because you can tend to tune, children and adult can tend to tune themselves out when they get to that point where they're just out of control. So get back to the level that where you're in control, so that you can hear good, sane advice or a voice that will get your attention to hear, so that you can listen and relax, so that you don't have to do anything crazy like hitting to get stuff out. Learn to meditate. Learn to, I always say, seek God. I mean, one sure way for me to bring me down, if I'm way up there and I'm upset, is singing. And I put on some gospel music. You're not going to put on heavy metal when you're up here. You're going to put on some music that's mellow, that will calm you. It will bring you to a point to where you can breathe and you can hear. You can hear the message that's being sung in the songs. You don't want to hear songs that's going to make you sad if you're already sad and depressed. I like to listen to R&B. I like to listen to gospel music. And if I'm at the point to where I'm calm and I want to get happy, sometimes I'll listen to reggae music. But it all depends. I like the older reggae music because I have a lot of good memories from that. But either way, you need to find things that's going to work for you that will bring you to the point to where you're not going to use these to cause any problems. Because once you use these to cause a problem and you take a life, there's no coming back for that. And karma is real. It may not hit you directly, but it'll hit a loved one. Or you may think it's not going to hit you, but it's going to come back around and hit you when you least expect it. So stop sending out negative things. Calm yourself. Take that moment to relax. Take that moment to get mental clarity before you move forward to doing something that you're going to regret. And love yourself. Love yourself. I cannot say that enough. Love yourself first. So if someone else is telling you things about yourself, you already know. You know, if it's good stuff, you already know. And if they come to you with something negative, you already know. Like I tell the kids I work with, if somebody calls you your name, I said, is that true? Do you think that's what it is? And if they'll say no, okay, well then pluck it off your shoulder. You ain't got to do that. Pluck it. Just aim it back at them. Just pluck it off your shoulder. It does not have to have an effect on you. It doesn't have to stick on you. You can just pluck it off. If you don't agree to it and you know it's not true, then let it go. I'm looking at 21 minutes now. That's a lot, so I don't know if anybody's going to watch the video that long. But the whole point I was trying to get through is make sure that you express yourself, learn yourself. When it comes to mental clarity and to maintain your sanity, step back and look at the situation. Pre-act before you react. And for adults who are taking care of younger people, take the time to express what they're feeling. If you see a child smiling, oh, you're happy. I can tell you're happy because of you're smiling, your eyes are squinted, you got a U on your face. Describe stuff to them. It's important. It might seem very basic and unnecessary, but it's important because they need to connect these emotions and these feelings mentally so that they know how to operate in the future. And if somebody is angry, okay, I feel and understand that you're angry right now because you're doing this, because you're expressing it this way. And then come with a solution. Maybe if we do this to calm down for just a moment and then step back, look at the situation, and then we can talk about it. Or we can draw about it if it's a little child, whatever the case might be. But take the time to express each emotion that your children are going through so that they can relate that. They need to click it. It has to click because you say it doesn't mean that's how they're seeing it. You need to be able to let them give you feedback, and then you can give them feedback, and then together come with a solution so it clicks and you know why you're feeling what you're feeling. So please take that time to explain and express. And until next time, I hope I covered everything. If not, I'll come back on. But again, thank you for this cup of conversation with me, Nidra Simmons. Have a blessed day. Thank you.